Hi, my name is Donnell Rogers, and today I'm going to be unveiling the hidden costs of online streaming services. We're all guilty of it. $7.99 here, $4.99 there, $16.99 for music, and $9.99 for ebooks. Service and subscription fees have become a phenomenon in recent culture, especially since the lockdown and stay at home orders of 2020. Since 2020, Americans have really dug their heels into this entertainment culture. And after a long day of working all day long and plugging away, paying these high inflation rates, people just want to go home and relax. And this is where we were introduced to the streaming service. At the peak of the pandemic, streaming services offered a variety of channels at discounted rates, and you didn't need three different services to stream every season of The Office, and watching the playoff game was not an additional $60 monthly upgrade. Netflix was even writing some pretty good material back then, and you might be able to catch a whole season. Now, 3 to 4 years post pandemic, consumers who just want to relax and enjoy their sitcom at the end of the day are finding the cost to watch their favorite shows have skyrocketed. Why is this? A big reason is that the pandemic is over. People are not forced to stay inside and watch these streaming services. And also, they have more of a choice because the options of streaming services has grown. So, by raising prices and premium services, streaming platforms have accomplished a goal of hitting their profits, but for customers, the benefits seem less and less. Many customers feel that streaming services make it more difficult to watch new, interesting content, and they keep hiking prices, which almost exceed cable bills of the past. So, today I want to discuss the true cost of online streaming services. What are Americans actually spending on these services? So, most streaming services have subscription fees and do require a monthly fee to enjoy the content. While that cost might seem reasonable at first, subscribing to multiple services can quickly add up, sometimes surpassing the cost of traditional cable or satellite TV. Deloitte Media does a survey every single year, and this year they found that on average, American households that subscribe to streaming services are averaging $61 a month for four services, and that's actually up 27% from the survey they did last year. So, I personally spend about $55 a month between my streaming services and subscriptions. So, I'd say I'm pretty on the average side. But during the research for this speech, I did reach out to some friends, and I found a friend that actually spends upwards of $300 a month for their sports channels. And I couldn't believe someone would spend so much money to watch entertainment. But as I've mentioned before, TV is a real pastime for Americans, and for good reason. We seem to be fighting to pay the bills and battle inflation during most of the day. So when we get home, we just want to unwind and watch a good show. So this sentiment that the prices of these shows is echoing louder and louder as more Americans are pushing back against the rising cost of everything. Deloitte Media explained about their survey that the surges in pricing is coming as consumers are already grappling with inflation and broader economic uncertainty. So people who have abandoned those expensive cable bundles in favor of cheaper streaming services are actually finding that their total monthly subscriptions are adding up super quick and may even cost them more than the subscription that they left previously. More than half of the respondents of this survey said if their favorite streaming service goes up another $5, they're going to ditch it. So it is a shared sentiment in America that these streaming services are kind of getting out of control as they continue to raise their rates. An important thing about this is that these subscription fees are just the tip of the iceberg. In addition to cost and increasing fees, the next hidden cost of streaming services is found in content fragmentation. And this is basically how streaming services manipulate the system, right? So, not all content is available on a single streaming platform. To access a wide range of movies, TV shows, or niche content, you may have to subscribe to multiple services, which leads to this content fragmentation competition, and increased expenses. For consumers, this causes an even newer term, multiple services syndrome, which is basically a marketing ploy that these streaming services bank on. They know that consumers are too busy to properly manage their subscriptions. They know that keeping track of multiple subscriptions and managing cancellations can be time consuming, and that most consumers are just simply going to forget. So every month that you forget to cancel your Hulu is another $8 in Hulu's profit. So I personally got hit with $19 from Hulu Plus because I signed up for the playoff game between Thunder and the Mavericks, and I paid an extra $6 in the moment to watch the game. But knowing that I would forget to cancel that service renewal, I was charged another $19 just the other day. So if they're able to get 20 bucks out of me, just imagine if every single consumer forgets to cancel a subscription. That type of money quickly adds up for these streaming services, and there's virtually no way to get a refund once you subscribe. A third hidden cost of online streaming is the trap of promotional pricing. So, a lot of these channels will offer you a free 7-day trial or a discounted rate. But once that 7-day trial is over, the cost of the higher long-term cost of the subscription service is simply not worth it, especially if you're already paying for multiple platforms. And then they offer specialized content as a premium as well. So specific genres like sports, documentaries, or foreign films are going to cost you more as you have to subscribe to an additional platform that caters to your preference. The last thing that I want to mention as far as these fees goes is the family and multi-users plans. So many streaming services offer a family or multi-user plan so that multiple people in a household can stream a show or platform simultaneously. And while this can be cost effective if you do have a large family, these costs do start to add up. And ultimately, if you are in one household, the same with a cable box, all of your family members should be able to utilize the plan. I think it's another gimmick and ploy of these streaming services. Netflix, we saw do this over the recent years where they have denied the use of multiple passwords across or one password across multiple devices. I think this is just another ploy of the social media or the streaming services in order to make more money. And then the final thing that these online streaming services do to hide the cost is the advertisement free experience, which is now a premium feature. So, these advertising they are all throughout all of the programming that you're going to watch on streaming services. And I think these platforms understand the psychological impact that it has on consumers because many consumers just want to enjoy their show so much that they will pay the extra premium rate to get an ad free experience and be able to watch their show without being constantly bombarded with an ad popping up, especially because you know they pop up right at the most important part of the show or during a cliffhanger. So the difference in cost between ad-supported and ad-free subscription tiers is usually only a few dollars, but they do tend to add up again because you're already paying for multiple streaming services. The last hidden cost of these streaming services is the hidden cost in data consumption and internet expenses. So in order to watch these streaming services, you do have to have a solid internet service with a high data cap. You do have to have the broadband width in order to download and upload video, especially if you're watching in high def or 4K. And a lot of people find that even their unlimited plans, which are never truly unlimited, do not give them enough data to actually keep their TVs and devices running for an entire month cycle. So many people are actually paying increased data charges or paying a higher amount of money for the internet plan in order to utilize the streaming service and watch their show. So, in conclusion, why are there so many hidden costs associated with online streaming? Since most people have locked themselves into the service of their choice, and really this number only increases by about 2% every year. It leaves little room for growth. Any streaming service that is already out there is like a teenager, right? So the early days of this land grab are ending. We're actually coming to a phase where streaming services need to demonstrate that they've got viable business for consumers. The subscription free fees, promotional pricing, ad free experiences, and content fragmentation, as well as the broadband and internet fees, can cause real issues for American families during a time of recession and inflation. The hidden costs that come with subscribing to online streaming services do not take into account the brand loyalty that Americans put into the streaming services. And I feel that these impacts, do impact the trust and loyalty of consumers, and these fees could really shape the future of digital entertainment consumption.